For example, lesson sa algebra. So habang nagdi-discuss yung teacher at nagsusulat ng mga questions or equations or solutions, bale, titignan nila ng mabuti kung paano isolve ang equation, kung paano makuha ang sagot. After that, kapag nagets nila, tsaka na nila i-apply yung mga natutunan nila sa klase. Okay? They learning through observations. While extroverts tend to prefer to jump right in and learn through hands-on experience. They typically learn through trial and error. For example, lesson again in algebra. On the flip side is, kapag naman nagdi-discuss si teacher or prof na nagsusulat siya ng mga sample equations, tapos agad silang nagtitake notes at sinusubukan nilang sagutan. Tapos kapag nagkamali sila, uulitin. Kapag nagkamali ulit na naman, hanggang sa makuha ulit nila kung paano i-compute at makuha yung sagot. Hi everyone, welcome to the Life Moments podcast, and we're here to talking about self-improvement, testimonials, motivational lessons, and real-life lessons. My name is Jerald Kaling, your host, and thank you so much for tuning in and for being here. If you are a new listener of this show, then welcome to the podcast. And if you are a true listener of the podcast, then welcome back to the show. You can also check out the other episodes that you will learn more about motivations and self-development. Hello and welcome back to another episode that we have to share our lessons to everyone to make wealth and live good. Sana tuloy-tuloy lang tayo mag-grow sa show na ito. So sana magtulungan tayo para ma-reach natin ang goals natin para mas marami pa tayong matulungan at sa pagbibigay ng values sa iba. Hi, this is Jerald Kaling, and before anything else, I have an exciting news for you. Did you know that there are more than 1 million active podcasts all over the world? That's 43 million episodes including content in more than 100 languages. Sounds overwhelming? So I have a question for you. Are you a podcaster? Did you want to monetize your podcast? Don't worry, Podmetrics makes it easy to make your brand to target your decided market. Podmetrics is a data analytics platform that allows podcasters to see data that they need in order to level up their show's performance. Show demographics, listenership, and even chart rankings are accessible through the site. Podmetrics aggregates data from various sources in order to track total and average listens. Through the Podmetrics marketplace, podcasters may also partner up with brands through ads, affiliate marketing campaigns, sponsorships. So what are you waiting for? Sign up now to podmetrics.co and use LifeMomentsWithJerald as your referral code. So that's the Podmetrics, the easiest way to monetize your podcast. On this episode, we're here to talking about the 10 signs that you might be an introvert. Some of you are not familiar na ano bang ibig sabihin ng introvert and anything else. Ako rin before, nung una kong narinig yung word na introvert, wala akong idea about yan. But I do research about that word. Some meaning of those words is very related to my personality and I need to know about this term. Napag-aralan din namin ito sa Understanding the Self nung first semester namin. Kaya medyo nagkakaroon na ako ng idea about dyan sa term na introvert. So first, what is introvert, Jerald? An introvert is a person with qualities of the personality type known as introversion, which means that they feel more comfortable focusing on their inner thoughts and ideas rather than what's happening externally. They enjoy spending time with just one or two people rather than large groups or crowds. Ang introvert daw guys ay isang tao na hindi nais na maging sentro ng pansin at sinusubukan upang maiwasan ng mga pampublikong kaganapan sa bawat posibleng paraan. Ang introvert ay komportable na nag-iisa sa kanyang sarili. May misconceptions din about introverts dahil ayaw daw nilang may pag-socialize or makipag-usap. Hindi naman sa ganun yun. Kumbaga, meron silang tinatawag na social energy. Right? So when you hear the word introvert, you might think of someone who's shy or quiet and prefers to be alone. While that may be true or for some introverts, there's much more to this personality type. Whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, all depends on how you process the world around you. May mga introverts tayo na minsan na parang sa perspective ng ibang tao sa kanila is parang weird, walang pakisama, baduy, yung mga ganyan. Tapos madalas din tahimik, di ba? Minsan naman lumalayo sa matao kasi parang OP or out of place, ganon. So, I have 10 signs that you might be an introvert that I will discuss for this episode. So, what are you waiting for? Let's begin with the first term is the first sign that you might be an introvert is number one, introverts need quiet to concentrate. Introverts are need silence to concentrate of what he or she doing because silence is one of the major reasons why silence has become an important part of everyday life is the ability to focus as the modern world and its various noises enter your brain at once. The ability to focus on different tasks is often accompanied by a little background noise. Of course, moment of silence is very helpful to us to concentrate when we are doing writing journals, reading self-help books, listening to podcasts, yoga, reviewing lessons, and many, many more. Ang worst din dito is madali din silang madistract. If I'm not mistaken, kahit katiting na ingay, nadidistract na. Kahit tilaok ng manok, tahol ng aso, tricycle, kotse, truck, etc. With the help of silence, is you can accomplish a lot of tasks in every single day. For example, ako is ang ginagawa ko kapag may new topic ako na pwede kong gawin episode sa podcast. Nagre-research at inaaral ko muna sa sarili ko. Then, ang gusto kong gumawa ng topic is walang distraction sa paligid ko. And at the same time, makakapag-focus pa ako sa ginagawa ko. Marami rin akong matatapos sa isang buong araw kapag ganun. Silence helps us to concentrate. So, kung ikaw to, isa na yan sa na ikaw ay isang introvert. So, that's the first sign. The second sign that you might be an introvert is what? Introverts are self-aware. Most introverts delight in the experience of their unique personality and their sense of individuality. We tend to be more touched with our emotions, thoughts, and feelings compared to the other outward personalities. Because introverts tend to be inward turning, they also spend a great deal of time examining their own internal experiences. If you feel like you are very good knowledge and insight into yourself, your motivations, and your feelings, you might be more an introvert. Ginagawa ng mga introverts is more than self-understanding about themselves and examining their own minds. Mahalaga sa mga introverts and self-awareness para mas makaisip sila ng mga bagay na pwede nilang gawin sa mga susunod na araw at maaari nilang gawin sa kanilang buhay. So first, what is self-awareness? Self-awareness is the experience of one's personality or individuality. It's a concept very intimate to introverts. Although every introvert is different for many of us, being self-aware comes naturally. It is even practice we have to remind ourselves to. This might involve exploring hobbies they enjoy, thinking about their lives, and reading books that explore themes and topics that are important to them. Kumbaga, mahilig tayo mag-explore ng mga bago para may matutunan tayong bago at mas ma-enhance pa natin ang mga skills natin kagaya ng pagbabasa ng books, pakikinig sa podcast, katulad sinabi ko kanina, panonood mga educational and motivational videos na nagsa-self-educate tayo para matuto at para ma-apply natin sa totoong buhay. If kung ikaw to, isa rin ito sa sign na ikaw ay isang introvert.
Hi, this is Jerald calling, and before anything else, I have an exciting news for you. Did you know that there are more than 1 million active podcasts all over the world? That's 43 million episodes including content in more than 100 languages. Sound overwhelming? So I have a question for you. Are you a podcaster? Did you want to monetize your podcast? Don't worry, Podmetrics makes it easy to make your brand to target your decided market. Podmetrics is a data analytics platform that allows podcasters to see data that they need in order to level up their show's performance. Show demographics, listenership, and even chart rankings are accessible through the site. Podmetrics aggregates data from various sources in order to track total and average listens. Through the Podmetrics marketplace, podcasters may also partner up with brands through ads, affiliate marketing campaigns, sponsorships. So what are you waiting for? Sign up now to podmetrics.co and use LifeMomentsWithJerald as your referral code. So that's the Podmetrics, the easiest way to monetize your podcast.
Let's go to the third sign that you might be an introvert is what? Introverts are like to learn by watching. Introverts like to watch others perform a task, even repeatedly until they feel that they can replicate the actions on their own. When introverts learn from personal experience, they prefer to practice somewhere private where they can build their skills and abilities without having to perform for an audience. Of course, introverts are also a fast learner when it comes to the learning process. Kumbaga, nakafocus at nanonood lang silang mabuti para matutunan nila ng mabilis. For example, lesson sa algebra. So habang nagdi-discuss yung teacher at nagsusulat ng mga questions or equations or solutions, bale, titignan nila ng mabuti kung paano isolve ang equation, kung paano makuha ang sagot. After that, kapag nagets nila, tsaka na nila i-apply yung mga natutunan nila sa klase. Okay. They learning through observations. While extroverts tend to prefer to jump right in and learn through hands-on experience. They typically learn through trial and error. For example, lesson again in algebra. On the flip side is kapag naman nagdi-discuss si teacher or prof na nagsusulat siya ng mga sample equations, tapos agad silang nagtitake notes at sinusubukan nilang sagutan. Tapos kapag nagkamali sila, uulitin. Kapag nagkamali ulit na naman, hanggang sa makuha ulit nila kung paano i-compute at makuha yung sagot. Now, you see the difference between introverts and extroverts do? So, kung ikaw ulit ito, isa rin ito na ikaw ay isang introvert. Next one is the fourth sign that you might be an introvert is what? Introverts have a small group of close friends. One common misconception about introverts is that they don't like people. While introverts typically do not enjoy a great deal of socializing, they do enjoy having a large social circle of people they know only on a superficial level. Introverts prefer to stick to deep, long-lasting relationships marked by a great deal of closeness and intimacy. Of course, just like what I said in the beginning of this episode, this is one common misconception about introverts. Kala daw nila ayaw nilang makipag-socialize sa iba or parang killjoy, parang ganon. Pero hindi naman ganon ang ibig sabihin na mas nag-e-enjoy sila kapag nag-iisa lang sila kasi may tinatawag nga tayong social energy na yun mismo nagpapagana sa kanila. So, just correct me if I'm wrong. Researchers have found that people high in this trait tend to have a smaller group of friends. while extroverts generally have a wide circle of friends and acquaintances. Introverts typically choose their friends much more carefully. Their closest relationships tend to be profound and significant. They also prefer to interact with people on a one-on-one basis rather than in a large group setting. Ang mga introverts na pagdating ng mga kaibigan o samahan, kumbaga, pili lang yung mga sinasamahan nila at sila rin yung madalas nilang kausapin dahil mas nagiging solid sila kapag magkakasama sila. Yung mga malalapit lang sa kanila, yung mga kinakasama nila. Tapos lagi silang nagkukwentuhan about sa mga future life nila, mga ganon, di ba? So, and kung ikaw ito, isa rin ito sa sign na ikaw ay isang introvert. Number 5 sign that you might be an introvert is what? Introverts. When people often describe you as quiet and may find it difficult to get to know you. Introverts are often described as quiet, reserved, mellow, and are sometimes mistaken for being shy. Of course, ito mismo ang kadalasang impression ng iba sa mga introverts na pawang lagi raw silang tahimik sa isang tabi, walang kibo, and of course mahiyain. While some introverts certainly are shy. People certainly should not mistake an introvert's reserve for timidity. In many cases, people with this personality type simply prefer to choose their words carefully and not waste time or energy on needless chit chat. Most of the introverts are not talkative. Kumbaga, mas gusto na lang nilang makinig kaysa sa magsalita. They are a good listener and have a good attitude. So kung ikaw na naman ito, isa rin ito na ikaw ay isang introvert. Next one is number 6. Sign that you might be an introvert is what? Introverts are too much stimulation leaves you feeling distracted and unfocused. Alright? When introverts have to spend time with activities or environments that are very hectic, they can end up feeling unfocused and overwhelmed. Extroverts, on the other hand, tend to thrive in situations where there is a lot of activity and few chances of feeling bored. According to at least one study, researchers have found that introverts tend to be more easily distracted than extroverts, which is part of the reason why extroverts tend to prefer a quieter, less hurried setting. Introverts are easily to distract. Kahit katiting na ingay, madidistract na sila. Kasi yung mga brains ng mga introverts ay may longer neural pathway para sa processing ng stimuli because information runs through a pathway that is associated with long-term memory and planning. Kumbaga, yung brains ng mga introvert is short-term memory ang kanilang brain kaya mabilis din ang pag-process ng memory. Kumbaga, yung stimulus na mag-enter sa brain is pawang walang pasikot-sikot. Unlike sa introverts or sa introverts, meron silang long-term memory na parang maraming pasikot-sikot na daan at pag-process ng stimuli, then dadaan na sa planning. Then ganon din pasikot-sikot kaya mahabang proseso yung brain ng mga introverts kaya mabagal ang proseso. Kaya siguro malalalim mag-isip ng mga introverts. Kumbaga, naghihimay-himay sila unti-unti when it comes to information na nakukuha nila. Kaya kung mapapansin is laging tahimik ang mga introvert at pawang nag-overthink sila. So according to studies by psychologist Hans Eysenck, introverts require less stimulation from words in order to be awake and alert than extroverts do. This means introverts are more easily overstimulated. So, kung ikaw ulit ito, isa rin ito sa sign na ikaw ay isang introvert. Introverts are prefer to write rather than talk. Most of the introverts are the great writers. Writing is hard. Not everyone has the capacity to create stories or articles out with thin air. More often than not, Writing is an activity that requires solitude, which is why some of the world's best writers are also introverts. As famous author John Green once said, writing is something you do alone. It's a profession for introverts who want to tell you but don't to make eye contact while doing it. Many writers classify themselves as introverted because they are part of the selected group of people who can create new worlds in their head, work in isolation for hours on end, and persevere to get every word just right all the same time. The introverts wants to write rather than talking. Kasi mga introverts ay may sariling working hours sa sarili nila. Kumbaga sa mismong mind nila na kapag meron silang bagay na gusto nilang aralin o malaman, they're working on their own, are keen listeners and observers, and are more in tune with their emotions, making them adapt and creating interesting characters and settings. But just because they like their alone time, this doesn't mean that they automatically reject working with their people. In fact, some introverts are actually drawn to writing because learning how to write gives them opportunities to be around their other introverts, which is something that ironically they tend to enjoy kapag meron silang gustong ipahiwatig sa ibang tao pero hindi nila ma-express. Mali na lang maisulat na lang o sabihin sa ibang paraan or something like that. So, kung ikaw na naman ito, isa na naman ito sa sign na ikaw ay isang introvert. Next one is introverts have low self-esteem. Another common misconception about introverts is that they are quiet and reserved because they have low self-esteem or lack self-confidence. This can be particularly problematic for introverted kids who are constantly pushed into situations by adults who think that socializing is the way to fix kids the adults perceive as being shy and insecure. Ayan ang isa pa sa misconception tungkol sa mga introverts na kapag sila ay tahimik ay mababa na agad ang self-esteem or self-confidence. Kapag tumatanggap sila ng feedback mula sa matatanda at mga friends nila na isang bagay ay pangunahing mali sa kanilang pagkatao ay mali lamang simulan ang tanong sa kanilang sarili bilang isang resulta. So, don't assume that reserved people lack confidence or self-esteem. So, kung ikaw na naman ito, isa rin ito sa sign na ikaw ay isang introvert. Another one is introverts don't hate people. People who are inverted are not misanthropic. In fact, introverts are typically very interested in people. They simply feel exhausted by lots of talking and socializing, particularly lots what they perceive to be needless talking. Kapag naman ang mga introverts ay hindi naman sila naiinis or nababad trip sa tao, kumbaga, very interested sila sa mga taong talkative and especially kung interested and related ang topic ng conversation nila. Take note, small talk is something that makes most introverts cringe. What they need is the reason to talk. So what can you do? Start up a conversation with an introvert. Try starting an interesting conversation about something the introvert cares about. You just might find that they can be the most talkative person in the room. For example, kung meron kang kaibigan na introvert, the best way to do is to open a related and interesting conversation para mas maging maganda ang usapan at pagsasamahan ninyo. Ang magandang pag-usapan gaya ng mga pangarap nyo sa buhay, mga bagay na pinagkakabalan nyo, and anything, di ba? Bale, mas magiging talkative sila at hindi lang yon, kundi mas magiging solid kayo at kapatiran, di ba? So that's because introverts don't hate people. So kung ikaw rin to, isa rin ito sa sign na ikaw ay isang introvert. And the last sign, but not the least, introverts, they don't want to be alone all the time. While introverts might need to have some time each day to gain back their energy. It certainly does mean that they want to be alone all the time. Introverts enjoy spending time with people they know well. Ang mga introverts ay minsan kailangan nila ng time para sa self-reflect and anything para makapag-gain sila ng energy. Hindi porket na gusto lang nilang mapag-isa lagi. Kumbaga, nag-gain sila ng energy to socialize. Nakaka-drain daw or consume ng energy kapag kasama nila your friends and loved ones nila, ganon. Pero depende pa rin sa kung ano ang topic ng mapag-uusapan or kung relatable or not. Kaya ang mga introverts, they not alone all the time. People with introverted personalities periodically need quiet time to decompress and regain the energy they spend while socializing. They also enjoy spending time with people they know well. And yeah, so that's all the 10 signs that you might be an introvert. If kung 10 over 10 ka dito, so congrats. Pero kung kahit 9, 8, or 5 man yan, that's also you as well. So that's all for this episode. And if you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe now the following social media. Just click like and follow now to my Facebook page, The Life Moments with Jerald Podcast, my Instagram at Jerald Kaling 1028 at The Life Moments Podcast, my Twitter at Jerald Kaling, my TikTok at Alpha Jerald 1028, and please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel now. That was my YouTube channel, Jerald Kaling. You can subscribe now to my channel para mas updated kayo sa mga podcast episodes na aking i-upload sa ating channel. And available are podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. Just search The Life Moments with Jerald Kaling. So this is Jerald Kaling. As I always say, just keep spreading positivity. Stay motivated. This is The Life Moments Podcast. This is Yo. Kamsahamnida. Take care and stay safe. Padayon.